Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and I'm super excited about this open box video for a couple reasons. It is some old coins, some ancient coins even, and there's a couple new things to show to you. One of which is just the amazing issues here that I have from a friend who decided to send in some coins that are really, really just amazing designs and things that we don't see very often. The hands clasping, shaking hands, and what a cool piece this is from the rule of Nerva. And there's actually, if you look right here, you can see now at the top of the screen the N-E-R-V-A, Nerva. There's of course Imp, Nerva, Caesar, Og, and then the rest of it down the back side here. What a cool piece. So NGC called this a choice extra fine, solid strike, solid surface, and a really just a beautiful rare type. This is they call it the clasped hands on the back here. This was considered to be the harmony of armies with him and Trajan. And what a neat piece of history. High grade coin too. Here's another high grade coin. This one is the ruler Hadrian. This is also a denarius. And so the letters get a little hard to see sometimes, but that's an H, that first letter, A-D-R-I-A-N-U-S, Hadrianus. And you see that V for a U, you know, that looks like a V, but it's a U. You may remember on our peace dollars, I get people asking me this all the time on the peace dollars. Why is there a V there? And really it's just a stylized U. Super beautiful overall strike to this coin, and a mesmerizing reverse. Here we go with the moon on the back. I mean, just an elegant, simple design and something you don't see very often. They called this coin an AU. The crescent moon and the star, they also have some of these with multiple stars on the back, and they're just kind of all over the place. Really neat piece. Next up, we actually have a little bit later piece moving into the Constantine era. This is Constantinus II, AD 337 to 363. This is an interesting coin because it's silver siliqua. It is basically half the size of a denarius. Kind of hard to see here because they look like they're the same size, right? I mean, if you look at them one on top of the other, you know, they look like they're kind of the same size. It has a lot to do with overall girth, though. This coin is a little bit more on the thin side. Only 1.74 grams, whereas this coin here is 3.6 grams. Nice extra fine on this coin. They mention also their little annotation that has some edge filings to it. So that's pretty typical where you'll see little pieces of the edge filed down. But you can see how much more thin this coin is. There is Constantinus II, and then the back of this one, there we go. So, you know, I don't know the history on all of these guys, exactly what that stands for. They simply write out, you know, the Votus XXX on there inside the wreath. They don't explain, of course, what that particular issue is. It would take a little bit of research, but a lot of times these coins commemorated things, right? So they had meaning, you know, just like this one. That's a commemorative of the harmony of the armies, and so you get these commemorative issues that were pretty common back then. Next up, I'm just another coin that I'm actually tickled with, but I wish I owned. I'm a little bit jealous, I'm not gonna lie. This is Diocletian, and D-I-O-C-L, you can see it spelled out there basically. Diocletianus Aug, A-U-G, which would be Augustus. Beautiful style, but the toning is lovely. And then look at the back of this one here. How cool is that? So this is a gathering for the sacrifice in front of the temple. Just a beautiful, beautiful looking coin. They call this a choice AU with a strong strike. Average surface quality. They do say that there's a marks on the coin. I wonder what they're referring to, but here the Tetrarchs sacrifice at Camp Gate or City Wall. One of my favorite things about these early guys is they all had these really long names. So Diocletian's actual given name is Caius Aurelius Valerius Diocletianus, but you can call him Dot. Let's see what those marks are that they're talking about. Maybe they're referring to these marks right in front of his nose. I just can't get over how cool the toning is on this piece. For early silver pieces, that's something you don't see as often, these denarii. But overall, a beautiful, beautiful piece. And we got a couple more. Now, this is super exciting for a couple different reasons. This gold coin is called a solidus, about 4.5 grams of gold. And the emperor is named Honorius. And so you can see the third letter in there is the H, O-N-O-R-I, and then it carries over the U.S. So really a neat looking piece. There's something else I want you to observe that maybe you already noticed, but maybe you haven't quite caught on to yet because you think I'm talking about something other than what I'm talking about here. Looks like he is breaking down a statue. I don't think that's a person underneath him, but he's standing on top of somebody's statue. But let's see. Maybe you can see clearly now what I'm pointing out. Look at NGC's new holders. They're using a film sandwiched between the two holders, and which is interesting because I hadn't read about this, which doesn't mean that they haven't put out a news brief on it, but I have not read about this. And also, I've had lots of antiques and stuff come in, and people use like this type of shadow box that works just like this. So the box closes. I've actually had people bring in coins also like this, where the box closes and the coin gets suspended in midair between the two pieces of film or plastic or what have you. So it's super clean, it's super chic, and it's, you know, they're using the proper material so you can see the coin perfectly still. And I am super intrigued by it. Right, I'm just curious about everything about this because I wonder just how durable it is, if the coin will shift, all kinds of things. Right, so the solidus AU, when you see this also, AU stands for gold, but even then they use the AV. Right, they use the V instead of the U. All right, oh look, Milan reverse emperor with foot on bound captive. So that is not a statue, that is a captive that's bound. It just looks like a statue. I got a couple more to show you, including one more that has the new see-through holder. Of course, the Hecate. This is an electrum piece, early piece from 521 to 478 BC. Look at the style on this guy, though. Look at that cool warrior helmet on it. This is the Corinthian Helmet style, and it has a little bit of some design element to the top of that helmet. Really cool, the thickness. Let's see how this center ring holds up with a thicker piece in place. Right, it looks like they're using the same thickness of plastic, and it just stretches out more for a thicker coin. This has the quad punch on the back, which is pretty typical of a lot of these coins. They called this one extra fine, a strong strike and average surface quality. Yeah, interesting piece here because I didn't mention here, by the way, that this one is mint state. You know, I was so taken back by the holder, maybe I underplayed the coin there. So I'm also intrigued by their choices of when do you use the traditional prong setting and when do you go ahead and use this new setting. Those are all things that I think I need to find out for y'all. Last but not least, so much for ladies first. How about Julia Domina? If I collected coins, this is what I'd collect. I love the ladies. This is the wife of Septimus Severus, and here on the back we've got the throne. I like Sestercii, and I know this. You look at this compared to that gold coin, and it's cruddy and it's worn down and it's green, and I just love it. So the front is Julia Domina. The reverse is Vesta standing, holding a palladium and scepter, and really cool, really cool. And so also sometimes on these, so the J's will look like I's. So you see that first letter that looks like an I is a J, the one that looks like a V is a U, the L is an L, right? We got to have something that looks the same. There's an I, the A is kind of worn down. Then you get the Domina, you got the DO. Over onto this side we go as I'm dropping stuff. There's an M, N, A, and then the AUG at the end. Really cool piece. If I didn't already mention, she was married to Septimus Severus. I think I may have mentioned that. I think he was the first cousin to Severus, to Sirius Black, but that's a whole other fandom, I guess. But anyway, very cool stuff. Super excited to share this stuff with you, just as a course of history and looking at all the different types of coins you can run into out there. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.